Emilia Perez.
You know, I'd really like to just get a...
Emilia Perez is a 2024 Spanish language musical comedy crime film written and directed by Jacques Audiard. The French production is based on Audiard's opera Liberato of the same name, which was in turn loosely adapted from Boris Razon's 2018 novel Ecoute. The film stars Zoe Saldaña, Karla Sofía Gascón, Selena Gomez, Adriana Paz, Mark Ivanir, and Édgar Ramírez, and quite possibly Édgar Ramírez's best role ever, which says a lot about how shit of an actor Édgar Ramírez is.
He is one of those guys who got the push, and then we all realized he sucks, like Taylor Kitsch or Channing Tatum, or I'm waiting for Miles Teller to hit that wall, and God willing, he will at 40 miles an hour.
I'm going to read through this really quick so we can get into this. The film had its world premiere May 18th, 2024 at the main competition of the 77th Cannes Film Festival, where it competed for the Palme d'Or, winning the jury prize and the Best Actress Award for its female ensemble. It was theatrically released in Path in France on August 21st, 2024. It became the second most nominated film in Golden Globe history, with 10 nominations at the 82nd ceremony, winning 4, including Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. The first time a non-English language film won the category. And Best Foreign Language Film. While Gascón became the first trans woman to be nominated for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Additionally, it was named one of the 10 films of 2024 by the American Film Institute and was selected as the French entry for Best International Film Feature at the 97th Academy Awards. So we had to talk about it, despite Robert's protestations. If you're wanting to watch it, it's currently on Netflix. Have fun with that. So let's get through this plot synopsis and let's talk about this movie. 50 words or less. You can do it. I have faith in you.
You really shouldn't. All right, so we mostly follow a lawyer in Mexico played by Zoe Saldaña who is not happy with her work because she gets rich people off of crimes. She's then abducted by a cartel, the head of which tearfully confesses his desire to become a woman. And he wants Zoe Saldaña to facilitate this. In service of making a lot of money, she does. He then fakes his own death, traumatizing his wife and children.
Who's played by Selena Gomez.
Whose Spanish is... Uy.
Whose Spanish has... Look, this movie isn't universally loved. I think it's as much hated as it is loved. And part of the reason why it's hated is because everyone thinks Selena Gomez's Spanish is an insult to Spain, the Spanish language, and and everything... Like, people are like, "Oh my God, stop speaking Spanish, you whore!" Like people hate her Spanish in this. It's pretty amusing.
I'm not gonna say hate. I'm just gonna say the following: like, I have a pretty good ear for accents speaking English. When I can tell who's speaking Spanish without seeing them speak Spanish, like, there's something there.
I think they tried to take her Spanish card away from her and said your name now is, Selena White.
Just White?
Yes. You're no longer allowed to be a Gomez. All right. Now that I've done making quasi-racist remarks, continue.
Okay. So we flash forward 4 years, where this murderous cartel boss, now going by Emilia Perez, finds Zoe Saldaña again and goes, I sure do wish I could see my children again. How about you facilitate that? So we'll go back to Mexico. We'll go back to the same town we were in. So Zoe Saldaña goes to where they had them stashed in Switzerland and tells Selena Gomez and the kids, this is a long lost cousin of your dead husband. And she, bleh. So they all go, it's so badly explained. So they all go back there. Friction arises because the kids think, okay, this is just my fun aunt. And Emilia Perez like, yay, I get to be a dad again. And Selena Gomez looks at this woman and this person goes, yeah, fine, you stay over there. You stay over there. Around this same time, Zoe Saldaña and Emilia start a nonprofit designed to help people figure out what happened to family members who were disappeared by the cartels. Prominent among them, the cartel this jackass ran, but I'll get to that. This becomes a little bit of a problem. This ultimately becomes a problem when Selena Gomez is ready to remarry. She's got another man in her life, and turns out she was cheating on. She had not been a faithful wife, but cartel people in charge of cartels are known for their upstanding morals, right? So, but Emilia reacts very badly to this. You can't take my children. They're not your children, you old dyke. I believe is the exact words Gomez shouts.
That is the, lest anyone yell at Robert, that is a quote, word for word.
Yeah. Because, you see, Emilia Perez has started a bit of a relationship with someone who went through their nonprofit organization, and I'm sure wasn't someone that, Perez had killed, right? This whole thing is gross. So Selena Gomez takes the kids and leaves. And then they wind up kidnapping Emilia, ransoming her for $30 million. Zoe Saldaña gets all the old sicarios together. There's a big shootout. Selena Gomez winds up realizing that Emilia used to be her husband.
Well, yeah, Emilia's been shot, and she's lying in Selena Gomez's arms, and she starts to talk about the first time I met you, and like, hey, wait, the first time I met you, you were a dude. Oh, shit, you're that dude.
So then they all die in a fiery car crash, and I am not exaggerating that.
And I hate that other people do this to you, but there's a detail here. So Selena Gomez, mid-car ride, starts to have a crisis of conscience and says, stop the car. I don't want to do what we're doing anymore. I just realized who this person is. And Édgar Ramírez is like, quiet, you.
Édgar Ramírez goes, the bullets have started flying. It's a little late to try and push the rewind button here.
Cat's out of the bag, pal. And Selena Gomez, being a hysterical woman, decides to cause a car crash.
Yeah.
And this car, being imbued with Hollywood magic,
Explodes.
roads, flips, and then blows up like the fucking Death Star. So they're all dead.
So then Zoe Saldaña starts raising the now orphaned boys because there are no consequences for her character.
Along with Madame Web.
And the city that had been terrorized by this guy honors him as Emilia Perez with song and a float to close the movie. And I find that morally grotesque, but...
So let me
Can I tell you, Mark, why I knew you would like this movie after I saw it?
Okay. Why did you think I would like this movie? I have a question for you when you're done, by the way.
Okay. This movie is very gay. And I don't mean that as a pejorative. I mean it as a descriptor.
Sure.
You like gay movies.
I do. And I'm not ashamed about that. You hate musicals. Is that part of what the problem here with this movie was?
It didn't help.
Okay. I, for one, love musicals, and it's one of the things I really like about this movie. Much like Cuckoo, if you go back to our triple feature on Strange Darling, Cuckoo, and The Substance, I talked about how, while I wasn't in love with Cuckoo, Cuckoo was one of the most interestingly made movies of last year. I have much the same thing to say about Emilia Perez. The cinematography, the editing, the shot selection are all very interesting. The blending of certain shots. I thought this was a very unique and from a cinema point of view, a very satisfying product to engage with. I can see why this got nominated for Best Picture because
it's super gay.
Stop it. Because because Best Picture should be a reflection of the best made movies at a minimum. And this is not content-wise. I'm not speaking to content necessarily or theme. I'm speaking specifically of the physical craft elements. It's one of the best made movies I've seen in the past calendar year. And again, all of these were 2024. It's up there with Cuckoo. It's up there with like Furiosa in terms of pure craft elements, physical craft elements. Some of the other movies that we talked about in our year-end review, there were just some beautifully made movies, beautiful uses of the medium. And I believe Emilia Perez is like top 5 in that category. No questions there. In terms of being a musical, I thought it was very different from any kind of musical I'd seen before. The way they blend sort of, so Joker stops the movie fucking cold and says, and now we're going to do a sing and dance thing from like the late 60s, early 70s. Now we're back to raping the Joker. All right. That's the Joker. We commented about that, about how it's not seamless. It's very jarring. There's a lot of problems with the way they used the musical elements in Joker. This is the exact opposite. There are like almost like seamless transitions into musical because a lot of musicals have this problem. Like I love Les Miserables, but Les Miserables kind of goes from like we're talking, we're engaging, and now I have to sing at you. I have to tell you about the master of the house. That sort of a thing. And this is more like you don't realize you're in a fucking song until you're halfway done, and Zoe Saldaña is doing a dance on a table in some sort of velvet fucking outfit she's wearing.
A Joker suit, believe it or not.
Yeah. It's I was really like the story I have zero interest in, but I was taken in by all of the other craft elements of the movie. I really as a person who just likes to watch movies and kind of appreciate how they're made, there was a lot of draw to Emilia Perez for me. And I really like the songs in it. I like the way they were performed. I like the choreography. This is more so than a Nora. Like if a weirdo movie has to win Best Picture, my vote right now is for Emilia Perez. My actual vote is for Dune, but that's neither here nor there. So
we both know your real vote is for the substance, Mark. It's okay. You can be honest.
If it gets nominated, it's not going to though.
It should.
It should. Yes, and if it gets nominated, then I want the substance to win. But I want to talk about the makeup in this movie. Zoe Saldaña is an attractive woman. She was fucking Gamora in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. She plays, Blue Cat Lady in Avatar. She is an attractive, lithe, athletic, gorgeous, feminine, wonderful-looking woman. They made her look haggard and she looked like me after New Year's. Just like I hadn't slept, and God knows how long. I was pushing myself too much. Like she looks like the character she is portraying. Like she has had the zest for life beaten out of her. She is wearing it on her face. You can kind of see it in the way she carries her body. Like, what a wonderful performance by Zoe Saldaña in this thing.
Yeah,
it was kind of the glue keeping it all together.
Yeah, she's getting, she got some awards out of this one, including the Golden Globe, and I think that's one of the Golden Globes, if memory serves. I think she got supporting for this instead of lead because Demi Moore got lead.
Okay.
But I completely agree. Like Zoe Saldaña's acting in this is really one of the highlights of the whole experience.
It's one of the best things about it. And like I said, the makeup job on her, phenomenal. Selena Gomez sucks. She's just
that's
terrible.
A bit strong.
And she's like Selena Gomez, maybe, but Selena Gomez is the least believable person in this movie.
Yeah.
I felt like
you're gonna make me say something that's gonna get us kicked off of YouTube if you say that again. So please don't.
Selena Gomez's performance in this made me feel like Peter Griffin when he's watching Meg's play, going, "I'm very aware I'm watching a performance." Never mind her Spanish. I did not love Selena Gomez in this. She was almost like distractingly bad. And she's like, and I think it's because the best thing about Selena Gomez is her deadpan delivery. And here she has to kind of emote and be hysterical. And it's just not believable. I did not find her. I found her off-putting in this movie. I'm fine with, let me make sure I have the actress's name correct. I'm fine with Karla Sofía Gascón. I think she puts on a perfectly serviceable performance. I think the makeup job they did with her was really, really good. I don't really have much to add beyond that. As far as the story goes, there was no story in The Last Showgirl. There was no story in Honora. There was no story worth telling in Emilia Perez.
Yeah.
This was kind of like a telenovela gone bad. You know,
You're not. That was kind of the thing. Like, there was one point watching this movie when I went, "Boy, we're just really leaning into the Mexican soap opera of this whole thing, aren't we?"
Yeah. That's it is, and
Where's Shadow
credit
the
to it
Hedgehog
too.
to opine from behind the fourth wall that Zoe Saldaña should kill all of them because she's not a prize to be won? Like, it's something like that.
Would have made made the movie infinitely better. Last thing I'll say, so I can let Robert say his piece. None of these are going to win. Well, Honora might win best screenplay, but none of these are going to win for best story. None of
Yeah.
these have an award-winning story. However, Emilia Perez is definitely held up by the rest of the elements to it, minus Selena Gomez. That I'm okay with it having its place in award cinema. I think it earns it in almost every other area, but the ones that I've mentioned. So I know you had a bunch of problems with this, so I'm gonna do like an on trial here and just go, "Your witness, sir."
Yeah. I said kind of I'm going to echo a few of the good things you said. Like, again, Zoe Saldana's acting is really good in this. It's probably the best acting job I've seen her do, period. Somebody had mentioned, like, boy, why doesn't Zoe Saldana get a lot more work and press? She's like one of the highest grossing actresses of all time. Like, yeah, because she's in Avatar and the Avengers, and she's like the least important part of both of those.
She was also in I Kill Giants. Check out our comic strip.
Okay. But this is easily the best acting job I've seen out of her, period. So big thumbs up to that. The production design I can get behind in places. Again, I am not a fan of musicals as a general rule. The way this movie kind of lures you into the music, you have to really get a fine-tuned ear for the rhythm of their speech before you realize, oh, we're starting a musical number most of the time. Once you're hip to that, you start to pick up on it a lot sooner, and it gets to be a lot less interesting a gimmick. But I do completely agree that this isn't as jarring with its musical numbers, minus one or two. There's a couple of them that I think are a little bit much in some respects. But most of them sung by, Emilia Perez. Anytime that happens, I tend to tune out because yeesh. Not a singer. Not a singer. But the songs themselves, they get across the narrative points they're making. And so credit to that. Better than anything Lin-Manuel Miranda's done in the last 20 years.
Oh God, by a country mile.
Just had to throw that out there. Also because, you remember when we complained about the songs in Moana 2, Mark?
The Moana 2 that's about to cross the $1 billion mark? Yeah, I remember.
It's not going to hit the billion.
It's close.
How close is it? So I haven't looked at the box office in a bit.
Yeah, I know. You make your point, and I'll quick look it up.
Okay, well, point being, the guy who wrote the songs for Moana 2 got kind of butthurt about everyone going, boy, these songs aren't very good. And he came out with you just wait a month. Everyone will be singing them. Everyone! Well, it's been a month, buddy. Nobody's singing them.
It's 10 million short of $1 billion.
Good for that. Look, for as successful as that movie is, the songs are the least interesting part of it, and that guy is just bitter about it.
Go on.
So, yeah, the music here is, fine. Fine to good. The lack of narrative cohesion to this movie is galling, and this is from a guy who doesn't mind nonlinear, non-traditional storytelling. When our opening third is, the desperate search for someone who will perform extensive plastic surgery on this murderous psychopath.
Yeah, that got a little meandering. They spent way too long on that.
The middle portion is actually the stuff that kind of works the best for me when they actually like do the here's the results of all this murderous cartel activity that's gone on and some of the fallout from that. Like that stuff actually kind of works for me. And then at the end, it's cheap drama between Emilia and Selena Gomez, followed by the world's worst Breaking Bad knockoff ending. Like, there's nothing really here. When maybe a fourth of your movie is actually engaging and that's it, like, sorry, you've sucked at writing this. So yeah, there's that. That was a big problem. Add to that like so much about the actual story being here and the theming and messaging actually repels me as a person. And to culminate this movie with a community that has been abused, victimized, preyed upon, and badgered by this same person a few years ago, to then celebrate them via almost, Saint Perez reverence, I find gross.
Okay, so I got to interject here because, point of order, my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but my understanding was that a element of this movie is that Emilia Perez and Zoe Saldaña have formed a charity where they look for missing people. And because of, cartel and Mexico, there's a lot of missing people. And
True.
they find a lot of missing people. And
well,
so
they find a lot of bodies is what they find.
They are missing people. They did not say alive. So I believe the reverence that is being shown towards Emilia Perez is solely about that.
It is.
If you're like, but the cognitive dissonance that these same people lost those family members by this person who then found God and then those people
didn't find
makes
God.
no sense. Makes no sense to me. Found her conscience, whatever.
Found nothing. Didn't change. I'll yell about that later.
Okay, so if I needed to point that out because people like listening to this conversation is what is the problem here? I just want to make it clear that as the cartel person disappeared a lot of bodies, as Emilia Perez found a lot of bodies for these people, and that's
found a lot of bodies that were put there by him.
But that's the thing is they don't know that. They see
again,
Emilia Perez as a charitable woman, not as man cartel bad.
When I say this is morally gross, it's for that reason. It's for putting these people in a position where they are unknowingly celebrating a person who massacred them, preyed upon them, dealt drugs to them, beat them, murdered them, because for a 6-month period after extensive plastic surgery, you found bodies that you put in the ground. Get bent. That is morally grotesque.
Agreed.
And that's my objection to it.
But people needed to know all the facets of how you got there, not just the one you were hyper-focused on. You're welcome.
Thanks. And also, my other bit of sort of moral grotesquerie that goes on in this is Zoe Saldaña's character, believe it or not. She's the least reprehensible character in this movie. But when a giant chunk of that character is devoted to discussions about, well, what do you want now that you're a rich lawyer? What do you want out of life? Well, I'd like to have kids. Oh, so you want to get married? Well, not really. Oh, you would like to, give birth maybe at some point? Well, it might destroy my womanly figure. Hey, coincidence of all coincidences. The really unfit parents died horribly in a car crash. You get to inherit 2 children.
Hooray! These are for you, McNulty.
Amongst others. So yeah, I hated this movie, man. As a purely viewing experience, as a person, I could not stand it. I found it repellent. Okay. But on a craft level, again, there's a lot of the production that's very good. Zoe Saldaña's acting is extremely good. And the music is better than most of the other musical numbers I've seen all year. So I'll give credit where credit is due.
I think as the musicals go, it was better than Wicked.
Given how Wicked was produced and directed, that's not a high bar to clear.
I was gonna say it was also better than Joker, but
Everything's better than Joker, except maybe
You're
The
not
Crow.
wrong. Also true. Well,